We are live. Welcome to Conversational Currency Live. We are Maryland's top small business talk show. I'm your host, Shadidi Laser. The communication is a superpower, ladies and gentlemen, and conversational currency examines the value and importance of social skills for business in a digital era told through the stories of today's business and thought leaders, through the stories of our guests, as well as current events. We seek to answer the question: if you are able to say the right words in the right moments to every man or woman in a business setting, how different would your life be? Success starts with seizing opportunity. And right now is your chance to grab the digital assets execution plan, which is your step by step guide to package your skills and create digital assets to escape the time for money trap. Your next step is to browse mrshadi.com/assets and claim your free digital assets execution plan. Now, switching gears in this conversational currency exclusive discussion, we are going to walk through the practical steps of how to go and launch your business ideas while you're still an employee and go through the details of how that's possible, some of the nuances, the things you haven't considered. And I went far and wide, ladies and gentlemen, and I have secured the time of not only someone who looks at the people first aspect of going from the employee to entrepreneur, but also the experience to guide you through the step by step. And ladies and gentlemen, please meet Mr. Joe Nicassio. Joe, how are you?
I am blessed to be in your presence, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to um, share my story and what I'm all about with people here to maybe change some lives today.
Absolutely. Now, since the early 2000s, Joe has guided uh, entrepreneurs to, or employees to becoming entrepreneurs, and work with startups, helping people to find their message, find their mission, and use those tools to deliver mastery to and for their clients. Now, the road always starts with the first step, Joe. And when you come across an employee who realizes they have that entrepreneurial itch, they've caught the bug. Um, what do you feel in terms of the imposter syndrome, or some of the things that people tell themselves that prevent them from starting? How do you help them to overcome that in order to take that step forward?
Well, imposter syndrome comes from the idea that I'm not good enough. I'm not expert enough. My bank account isn't big enough for whatever reason. You know, it's all about me. And the truth is, it's not about you at all. I think, um, we get nervous wanting to know all the answers, and nobody has all the answers. But if we have enough confidence that there are answers that I do know and any answers I don't have, I can get the answers, then that can help us get a little bit more of that confidence. But, you know, I learned a lesson in Toastmasters after 7 years. Why do people get nervous on stage? Okay. And how do you overcome that? And you want to think of your message as like a gift that you're sharing with the audience. Like, I'm sharing this gift with you to help you make your life better. I am serving you by serving up this gift to you. And as long as we're focusing on this is for you and to make your life better, and it's truly coming from that selfless place, then you're not going to be nervous. Imposter syndrome comes from it's when you stop thinking about your audience and you think of yourself, like, is my hair all right? Is there a spot on my shirt? When we become self, so what we need to do to overcome imposter syndrome is turn our nervous into service. Like,
Hmm.
don't focus on your whether you're good enough. Focus on just being a contribution to your clients and changing their life. It's not about you at all. Quit being so selfish and thinking about yourself. If you totally think about others and making their life better, then you're not going to be imposter because you're genuinely helping somebody make their life better.
Excellent. Now turn your nervous into service. That is poetry of the entrepreneurial kind, Joe. So
I got to
we
give credit on that. My one of my mentors is a guy named Taki Moore, and I got that from him. And it's gold. It's gold. Go ahead.
the great Taki Moore, ladies and gentlemen. And so when we talk about service, it's often counterintuitive for most people. Let's say when they attend networking events, it's always, here's my business card, here's what I'm doing, here's how I'm changing the world. And to switch that around to give first tends to be something that many people struggle with. Can you give people a tangible example of how they can, let's say, start where they are, no matter if they don't have the connections, if they're just getting started, they're still at work, how they can begin the trickle down effect of serving and leading with service?
Well, yeah. I mean, one of the mistakes people make in networking is like, I'm going to find people to buy my stuff, and they're out there trying to, and if I can't buy my stuff and you can't buy your stuff, there's no value between us. And it's the biggest illusion. It's the biggest lie. Everybody has value. I think one of the most important lessons I learned from Jay Abraham, another one of my mentors, is that looking through when you look at like, okay, I'm a wizard at what I do, but everyone else has wizardry also. See, humility is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking more of others. Okay. And when we can start to actually recognize that every person I meet has magic, every person I meet has value, every person, but if I don't see someone's value, it's not that they don't have value. It's just I lack the genuine curiosity to discover. So when I meet people, it's like, tell me about you. What big things are you up to? What are you good at? What's your magic? And what are your needs? What's working for you? What's not working for you? Um, and so the most selfish thing you can do is be selfless.
Hmm.
Quit thinking about me, me, me. I'm trying to get the sale. Start actually saying, what can I do for you? How can I improve your life? What challenges are you going through? And when we start actually improving the lives of others, they're like, wow, you got some freaking value. So giving, Jim Rohn said, giving is better than receiving because giving starts the receiving process. So if you just quit thinking about receiving and start thinking about giving first, giving, and don't give in small ways. That's for wimps. Okay. Be a massive contribution to the people you serve and even the people that don't serve. Even if I'm at a networking event and I only got 5 minutes with you, those are going to be the most powerful 5 minutes of giving I'm going to give to you because I want you walking away saying, wow, this guy really helped me. This guy is genuine. This guy knows his stuff, you know, and I think that's a good starting place is to just see the magic in others, be genuinely curious, find out. And every single person you meet's going through some stuff. And if you can be that person that cares in a world where people don't care, caring is a superpower. So use it.
So many quotables, and we're just getting started. So one of the themes that have emerged very early in our conversation, Joe, is that you are a believer in mentors and the power of mentorship. And so for those who are still at work and looking to make that transition, should they wait until they launch the business, or should they go for a mentor while they're still employed?
Yeah. First thing that pops in my head is whatever mentors you get, choose your mentors wisely. Not all mentors can give you the stuff that you need. But look, before, let me tell a parable. Once upon a time, a man walked onto a construction site. Three men were working. He asked the first man, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm laying bricks." He asked the second guy, "What are you doing?" "I'm building a wall." He asked the third man, "What are you doing?" He smiles, looks to the heavens, and says, "I'm building a cathedral." If you're tired of laying bricks and building walls, I know you want to build that business cathedral so you can have your own business. The mistake a lot of people make is they just build a business, they build a building on hustle, and they never take the time to build a strong foundation. And even before you build a foundation, you should have a good blueprint. And that's the work I do, is this business happiness blueprint. It's like, let's, while you still have your job, create a plan, create a master plan, create a glorious plan. So you can, if you don't like your job and you want to do something, why not create something epic, something you love, something that's passionate, something that serves people and gets you paid well. So while you have the job, it makes sense to blueprint it, build a foundation of fundamentals, and even maybe part-time prove the concept out while you have that job. And once you start seeing that, oh, I have a way to generate leads, I have a way to generate customers, I can totally deliver on my promises, you can do that part-time or as a side hustle. And then once you have the confidence that, you know what, I can do this, then you can walk away from that job because now you've proven a concept that works and your cash register is ringing. And so I would break it into phases, create a plan, put the basics together, you know, test it, get some signs of life, and then when you have confidence that it's really working, then it makes sense to adios. And the process of choosing a mentor, it's like, look, if you've never blueprinted a business before, if you've never built a business foundation, I've helped over 3,000 people grow existing businesses, and I've helped several hundred people start businesses from nothing. And so while you're still employed, if you're serious and you're committed to really making a business that works, here's what I don't want to do is work with people that treat their new business like a hobby. This is serious as a heart attack. This is, if you want to have a business that provides you a business income, then treat it like a business and not like a hobby. What too many people do is they have this full-time job and they kind of have this dabble mentality, and you'll never, getting a coach or a mentor may be exactly what you need to keep you on point, on track, focused, blueprinting, like what are the step-by-steps I need to go through, and then creating some very simple disciplines. I think it's getting guidance. If you don't know what you're doing, then guidance is essential, and it's a game changer.
So I would say from a blueprint or planning standpoint that my generation was the last to, let's say, where society required the business plan as a barrier to entry to launch a business because it was used primarily for funding. And so nowadays, the illusion that many entrepreneurs fall into is that since it is easy to set up a business storefront, whether it's digitally or otherwise, or through social media, that those are the bare bones that you need to launch a business. For the millennial entrepreneur, for the entrepreneurs in their teens and 20s, can you please highlight the benefits of a business plan for their launch?
Yeah, and I think that you're right, that there is like the primary reason people go get a business plan is because they're looking for external funding. And if you're going to wait for somebody to fund your business before you start, you're not even somebody I want to work with. Okay. I'm looking for people. Look, it doesn't take money to make money. It takes customers. And you may have absolutely, the good news is your value is not how much money you have in the bank. Your value is not how much your self-esteem is. Your value is your ability to improve somebody else's life, conditions, business, relationships, whatever area you're in. And so you do need a business plan, but you don't need a banker business plan. You need a street business plan. Okay. What exactly is the one thing that I'm selling over and over again? And how can I deliver it powerfully? How am I going to get in front of the right people that have the problem? How can I get people that, I don't like chasing people. I like people chasing me. So, the harder my marketing works, the easier my selling goes. How can I market to warm people up so that they chase me so I don't have to chase them. That's business planning. And, while we're bringing this up, I think one of the big mistakes people make in starting a business is they think, well, I'm going to have multiple streams of income and they've got 5 businesses and none of those 5. Do one thing, that works. You know, I think that the multiple streams of income, a lot of the mentality actually comes from scarcity thinking, because if you had one business that was abundant, you wouldn't be chasing a second, third, and fourth business. So let's get one business abundant, and then we can think about a second business.
Excellent point. Excellent point. So for those entrepreneurs that are launching, and as you mentioned, we often fall into the trap of I do all things for everyone. Everyone, the world is my target market. And
Yeah.
as we know, as you become more experienced, that specificity becomes more prevalent and you start to hone in. So we want to, let's say, begin with the end in mind and help people get to that. Let's say, start with the fundamentals first. So what are your recommendations to hone in as you start and kind of eliminate that scarcity mentality that makes people reach out for all markets?
Yeah, we go for all markets because we know a lot of stuff. I'm a bright guy. I know a lot of stuff. I can go work a miracle over here and then work a different miracle over there and solve a completely different miracle over there. And I can do it, but miracle work is exhausting. Okay. I do one thing. I'm a badass business coach. I do it one-on-one. I do it in a group, and because my life is simple, um, I know exactly who I am and what my expertise and what I stand for. Um, One of the things I witness, I have a metaphor that I use is we have all these different interests. We're scattered like a light bulb. And it's great that you have a lot of interest. It's part of your diversity. It's part of like your multifaceted amazingness that makes you a human being. But when you show up to the marketplace scattered, like I do 20 different things, the confused mind will buy nothing. And one of the lessons I learned from physics is the same energy of a laser beam is the same energy of a light bulb, but that laser beam has so much more impact. So I would rather see you do one thing well that solves one problem in an amazing way so that you get paid well. Then, would you rather go a mile wide and an inch deep? I'd rather see you go 1 inch wide and a mile deep and get paid what you're worth. Because we need to focus. And if we're scattered, it inhibits our ability to like make a good living.
Let's talk about pricing, Joe. I was looking online and looking into, let's say, resources to find out how to actually price products and services. And to my surprise, there's not many guides out there. So, from your experience in helping so many entrepreneurs and startups go down the path of launching their business, what are your guidelines for pricing? Keep in mind that so many of us have lost, let's say, thousands of, let's say, man hours, as well as just going through the process of building our self-esteem to charge what we feel we're worth. And if we can avoid that through, let's say, your insight, that would be excellent. So what are your thoughts on pricing for the new entrepreneur?
Well, I think you're right. Most people don't know how to price, and it's a little bit cryptical or mysterious. How do we price? I think the most common method people use is the SWAG method, SWAG, and that stands for systematic wild ass guess. And one things we need to really recognize is the measure of wealth is not how much money you're receiving, but how much you give, share, serve, impact another human being. So it's not about us again. It's about what we're doing for the client. So what problem do they have before they even come to us? And how is that problem impacting them? And then when they come along and they hire us, we get them a result. Now the question is that result a spark in time, or does it last a decade or a lifetime or a legacy? Does it go on generational? Um, there's tangible benefit, there's intangible, once you solve the problem, does it open up new doors? And, does it create more emotional peace of mind? And does it affect you not just in a business way, in a personal way? And what's the ripple effect of your work? And then the big question is, there's a cost of doing business with you, and there's a cost of not doing business with you. Okay. And that's the one that can be very expensive. So the most important thing in our pricing is to have the confidence in knowing I don't just sell stuff. I'm a massive contribution to the clients I serve. Design it in that way. It's your business. Design it in so that, we live in a world of problems. There's two kinds of problems: the ones people will pay to solve and the ones people won't pay to solve. There's big problems and small problems. You'll make more money solving big problems. And so when you show up as a massive contribution, you really change lives in a bigger way, then you're going to get paid more money. And that is what gives you the confidence to know this isn't small stuff I'm doing here. This is big stuff. And I deserve to get paid. There was a poem I think I memorized from Napoleon Hill. He said, "I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged in the evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer. She gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, then you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire only to learn dismayed that any price I would have asked of life, life would have willingly paid."
Poetry, definitely poetry. Now, right now, Joe, there are people who are tuning into this broadcast who are at the end of their rope. They have, their job is paying them less. They cut down their hours and they're going to entrepreneurship as a last ditch effort. They have the talent, but they're taking a step forward into something that makes them afraid. It makes them kind of, let's say, restrict and not reach out. And so you being at the top of the mountain, my question for you is, after all these years and after thousands of people that you've helped, what do you love about entrepreneurship in its purest form?
Mm. For me personally, I love the fact that I get to impact lives and really, I am an agent of transformation. What I love in the work I do is I help my clients bring that out too. One of my clients, he's an expert at the flow, getting into the flow state. And before he hired me, he didn't know that. And once he figured it out, he's owning it. He's impacting lives. So I impacted his life, but he knows his calling now. He's got skills that'll last him a lifetime. Opportunities are open up for him. He's written books, and he has the confidence. He really feels in the zone with his career. And so, there's the money part, which is great. That every day is payday as an entrepreneur. I don't have to wait once a month or once a week for my paycheck. If I close 5 sales today, I get 5 paydays in one day. I love that about entrepreneurship. I also like the impact part, and I would say the autonomy, the freedom, I'm not somebody else's bitch. I don't know how to put it any other way. I'm building my dream and not someone else's. And so I think there are a lot of struggles in entrepreneurship, but there's nothing that is insurmountable if you do it right from the beginning. And I work with people all the time, and they go through their entrepreneur ups and downs. But I always ask, could you ever go back to getting a job? And they're like, no way. It's like, no way. Could you ever go back to working for somebody, Shadid? And he's like,
Well, it would be tough. For me, I've always been wired in a way. I was raised in a way where even if I'm working for a company, that company's my partner because I'm taking those skills and I'm bringing it back to build my own sandcastle. Now, the sandcastle may get washed away, one week by the tide or the shore. But that has always been my mentality. So once I got to the point where now I'm able to build my own, and the sand turns into actual, bricks, and it starts to be more of a structure. Now that foundation is set where no matter if, a portion of the wall gets knocked down, the foundation is still there, and that mindset is still there to just repair the wall, stay on the creative side, and let the chips fall where they may, Joe.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that stops people from getting into entrepreneurship is they say it's risky or it's inconsistent. And that's our job as an entrepreneur, is to eliminate the risk and eliminate the inconsistency. So if we have certainty, if we have consistency, if we are operating in a way where there isn't much risk, then we can thrive and prosper. It's, so don't look at like business as risky. It's like, I'm starting my business and my job is to operate in a way that isn't risky.
Excellent point. Tell us about your solutions for the employee to entrepreneur transition.
So, employee escape plan is really about leaving the job you don't want. And what we really want to do is, what is it we want instead? If we don't want a soul-sucking job, I think what we want is a happiness-centered business. So this is some of the work I'm most proud of, is creating something I call the Business Happiness Blueprint. And so it's really do what you love, share the love, receive the love. The first step is choosing your business wisely. I think that if we don't get that part, everything else is going to crumble. Maybe, some people choose a business because it makes money, but they don't enjoy it. And so they're going to burn out. Other people choose a business because I love doing this and it's fun doing this and I'm good at doing this, but nobody pays them for it. And so it's just a hobby. And so let's take the time to make sure you love what you do and you're competent and good at what you do. And it's something that you can prosper with. And then we can move forward. So you need those checks and balances. The second thing is, now you need to build a brand. So you need to understand the emotional hot buttons so that people become aware of you and you become memorable in their minds. And then we need to package this up as an offer and some storytelling. You need to I know that you want this big thing, but there's some problems. There's some problems stopping you from getting it. And that's why I designed a program that fixes all those problems so you can succeed. Okay. So you need to offer, here's what I'm offering in exchange for the money. We focus too much on the money and we need to focus more on the giving. As a matter of fact, Shadid, I don't set money goals. I set impact goals. I want to help 100 people start or grow businesses in the next 12 months. The money is attached to it, but it's the people that are more important than the profits. If you focus on the people, the profits come. If you focus on the profits, you got dollar signs in your mind, you got commission breath, and you repel people. Then you need to promote, get the word out, and you can do it on social media and the internet, but you can also promote offline. There was a time before the internet where we actually would look at people and shake their hands and make deals, and one of my favorite sayings that I created is, low tech effective is better than high tech ineffective. Okay. But we got to promote and we got to get in front of people, and we need to generate leads or awareness, people that are leaning in and interested in what we're up to. But now some people will buy right away, but a lot of people won't. And a lot of business is lost because we put all this effort to generate interest and then we didn't follow up and nurture the relationship and raise the buying temperature and get them hot for what we got. So lead nurture is a really important part. You need to not just love promoting and generating leads. You need to love the people that are showing interest but aren't buying yet. So, and then we can fill up our calendar, get conversations, turn conversations into cash, and then deliver the goodies, provide them value. And then, we get cash, we get great gratitude, we get repeat business, we get referral business. there's all kinds of receiving that comes when you do all this stuff right. And that's just what I'm really want to help people do, is to become a better giver so that they become a better receiver.
Very powerful, very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, through the story of Joe Nicassio, we have taken a journey on the value and importance of finding your mission and using that mission to transition from the world of employment to the world of building your own empire brick by brick. There are many setbacks that may come about on the journey. There are many moments of doubt that may come about on your journey, but there is no better feeling than to take an idea and to build your own empire with your own sweat and ingenuity that comes from the world of entrepreneurship. You have a choice during this time to allow for your job to continue to cut back, to make decisions on their funding and their payroll, or to take a step forward to do something that will empower yourself, your self-esteem, your morals, and the safety and security of your family. And taking those steps to build your business is the solution and the remedy. You have the tools that Joe has shared with you through the employee escape plan and the business happiness blueprint that will help you go down this path through the lens of a man who has helped over 3,000 people over several decades to accomplish what you set out to do. On behalf of Joe, I'm Shad Didi Laser, and you've tuned in to Conversational Currency Live, where we discuss the value and importance of social skills for business in the digital era through the lens of today's business and thought leaders. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be here with us, and for that, we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in.